Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Looks like we're good. Okay. So, good morning to everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is May 11th, 2022. And as always, just kind of review from yesterday. Not too much in regards to new price activity. We had plenty of intraday volatility leading to a bit of a wider range of trade overall in the S&Ps. Some interesting development in regards to the intraday session. Market actually started with a gap up open. The S&Ps started their opening session a bit elevated, and that could be seen in a few different ways, both relative to price, the S&P obviously gapping above the previous session's close. But additionally, as we look at, I'm pulling up an image here just to show some of the behavior yesterday. So I went ahead and took a screen capture of how the market started and how we drew back quite heavily across the board in the S&P. So what this is showing right here is a watch list of all S&P 100 stocks. In this case, it's not all 500. You know, that would just represent a lot more of these bar graphs. But overall, this shows some of the heavier market cap weighted stocks in the S&P. And as you can see, a lot of the market started with an open or at the very least a high that was quite elevated. So all of these green lines that are unfilled are stocks that had a high higher than the previous day's close, basically starting in the green or getting into the green during that session. And then, of course, as we saw, yesterday was more of a weak session, just started from an elevated position. And as the market drew down, a lot of the overall market drew down with it. It wasn't necessarily one or two key sectors providing the weakness, although tech and financials were definitely weak overall, but more of an all market sell-off. There was a couple of areas of relative strength in some semiconductors. As you'll notice, tech actually was a strong sector, and I might have said tech earlier. I meant financials and healthcare. But overall, the market was postured to basically have an if-then scenario. If we were going to break out, everything was starting strong. It would have had to continue to be strong to really get through Monday's high. And then, of course, as we saw, there was a rejection in the morning, and that led to a sell-off. And that sell-off actually printed fresh lows in the S&P. Now, as we always do, the SPX is right on its expected move. Really, nothing has changed from the expected move perspective. We're simply still in a position of risk. If the market is to go much lower than where we currently are, it represents that expected move breakdown, and the same dynamics apply. We just haven't really seen a close below that level quite yet. So far, everything has been more of a test, a slight breach, if you will, but overall, we've stayed within the expected move on close. For the S&P, you know, as we kind of look further out in time, we're obviously trying to anticipate where downtrends are starting to form some solidification, more or less looking for when the pullback is going to begin in the S&P. And then, of course, due to the drawdown and the structure of the market, we'd only really be looking for weekly lower highs or something as simple as a daily pullback. Optimistically looking at some of the weekly levels as possible targets on a bounce. So S&P continues to be in a downtrend, very relative weak overall. Structure is facilitative of more downside. And then, of course, as we are in a downtrend from an uptrend, we have the idea of previous supports, previous breakout zones, and obviously buy and sell swings on the uptrend, all of which represent areas of interest. More or less, you're looking for setups in these areas, not necessarily to be fully long, but in regards to a downtrend, you're often looking for the market to stall or test these areas, and that can usually be profitable zones for shorts, along with anticipating where the market might claim some support. So as we are in the mid-week session, we do have our data drop for today, which is going to be a very important one, and that is, of course, the CPI data. So if you're on Trading Terminal, you'd want to go to Calendar, Economic tab, and then look into 8:30 market time. You're going to see things like core inflation rate month over month for April, and then core inflation rate year over year for April as well. Now, a lot of these numbers are representing what the market's estimates are, along with what the previous reading happened to be. And then, of course, as we get the data, this will update with the change and percentage change relative to the actual numbers. Another way to see this, if you are on Thinkorswim, you can pull up something like the calendar, look up economic or Econo Day events. It's kind of a weird word, but the CPI item should stand out here, and you'll see those same numbers where you have a previous and an expected. This will be for month over month, year over year, and then you have excluding food and energy readings. These numbers just take out some, I would say, like basic necessities from the readings. So these numbers are inherently going to be read higher. So, and as we wait for that, I think the market overall is postured to kind of respond in both ways for what this data will deliver. So as we kind of dig a little bit deeper into the morning session, obviously I've left the gap rectangle still on my chart. It's more or less still a low liquidity zone in the market, but we are starting to fill that area up with some of our intraday trade. And representative of some of the daily ranges we've been trading in this week, there certainly is an aspect of a high and a low in this area. For example, yesterday's session was actually kind of interesting because we did basically top fish the high on yesterday's morning. It represented a double top from Monday's high. You got a really good risk reward if you did go short in this area. Not only did the market sell off, but it actually broke Monday's low, which is, not necessarily always typical. Usually you'll have some milder pullbacks in between. And as you can see on the 5-minute, I think the only real major pullback was this one here before seeing a pretty significant sell swing. So some additional information from yesterday. This is a lot of transactional volume that occurred near this relative low. Usually I like to see this whenever you're trying to establish some false breakdown look. Instead of just seeing a small response through a low and then an immediate rejection, sometimes building up some of this transactional volume is a bit more healthy. You tend to complete any auction activity at this price. And then, of course, as we saw, once we were done with this auction, we moved rather quickly back to the upside, getting into this gap area once again, and then, of course, transacting a bit more to kind of fill up this range. So I know this is a bit more nuanced than what we normally look at, but as intraday traders, some of this information is pretty important because what you'll notice is markets tend to move through areas a certain way most of the time, i.e., what you'll notice is this entire area here doesn't really offer support. As such, it is going to be easy for the market to get through it on sell swings and buy swings. And this is also true back to the upside. So this same area represented a downtrend and an uptrend with not too much in the way of pullbacks. The market actually could just move through these areas, get to a new liquidity or inventory zone, and then transact in, your market auction behavior, a lot of chop as you find these areas. So when you spot these kind of reactions, it's important to understand that if you're trying to look for reversals or basically just catch some sort of downtrend, these areas are dangerous because what you'll notice is there's very little in the way of a bounce here. You can almost have trouble getting out of a reversal position, even if you do nail something like a relative low, simply because you're not getting back and forth trade. You can't find a low, sell at the high, and play this range as a scalper even because in essence it's moving through it completely. There is no pullback, and a lot of people kind of get trapped in some of these when they think the market gets a bit oversold or even overbought. It's more important to understand that these are not high transaction zones. They're low transaction zones, and therefore the market moves quickly through them. Instead, what most people are looking for is some structure that has back and forth waves. Even if you are an intraday reversal trader, you definitely want something that's akin more to a channel or something that at least has trending behavior. This is not necessarily a trend in the sense that it is downtrending, but it's not having pullbacks. This is more or less a move from one value zone to another. And that's very important for intraday trade to know what kind of technique you should be applying. So as the S&P has presented those zones, we're obviously looking to potentially break away from them as a bull. And that, of course, is going to be marked by changing of the trend. So for now, what we have is our absolute low, which did break the low of Monday, and we had a very mild close below this level. So therefore, I'll say that this low is new and established for the time being. We have a high that, of course, came off of yesterday's rally. And then we sort of have our pre-market and after hours low into a very mild higher high on the hourly. So our structure here is one that's still compressed in a wider time frame range, something like a 4-hour. You'll see that we really haven't done anything of note on the 4-hour except for have a lot of volatility. What this also means is that we haven't changed the 4-hour trend. Our sell candles are much wider and giving up too much of the move to the upside to, basically set up the change. But as we bounce, what we'll be looking for is ideally some sort of pullback, and then of course a very clear breakout. Now this can occur on the data, or this can be something that simply rejects again. Obviously we are still very much in major downtrends across multiple time frames. And as you can see, the highs on the 4-hour represent some of the top end of the sell candles. So as we await for this data, just kind of have your game plan in place for whether it be a particular stock, the market itself, and what the reaction looks like, along with some of the nuance of the simple fact that over the past 2 days, we're kind of in balance. I mean, there's a very mild breach of Monday's low, but the high is well established. If we clear this high, it represents something a bit different. It represents the fact that the daily pullback is probably underway. And as we kind of await for this information, this structure is something that as an intraday trader, you kind of want to have in the back of your mind, whether we reject once again or trade inside the range. And then, of course, if we do break out, the daily pullback will be underway. So all in all, I don't have too much information outside of this little bit of nuance. A lot of things are postured, awaiting this information. Crude channel tends to still be in play. I've gone ahead and marked the highs and lows. Go ahead and have this information for now until we see a breach. We did respond off of 100 as expected. We did talk about that 2 days prior. So if you are a crude trader, there is some nuance to some of the short-term trade right now. And then, of course, volatility in nat gas tends to be extremely high right now. We actually got a full rejection of the previous buy swing, came all the way back to our swing low support, and that's pretty much been established by some monthly levels and some previous highs. At this point, of course, you're noticing that if we start to form a bit of a head and shoulder structure, this area right here represents a neckline for nat gas, and that would, of course, change some of the trend in regards to the weekly time frame going into consolidation. So nat gas volatility extremely high. Just watch out for some of the leverage products. Someone just asked about Gush. The idea here is that these levered products are pretty wild right now. Whether you're looking at oil and gas, kind of a composite view, or you're looking at the ones that are a bit more direct to where the volatility lies, these gaps are really what's dangerous if you're carrying this overnight. And be aware that it's a great intraday trader. Just know kind of what the bias looks like and when to be thinking long or short in the underlying product. Hopefully some of the levels that we've marked will kind of give you a guide. So we're looking at silver and gold a little bit more closely as well. Silver has fully collapsed back to its relative lows. This is also a very important level for silver in regards to it is the swing low after the uptrend, and we have not necessarily broken from this trading range as of yet. We saw an attempt to go bullish. That did fail. We came back to our lows. So if you are sort of bottom picking some particular levels, silver might be something of interest, but the upside at the moment is a bit limited. Same idea with gold, although the rejection is not as harsh. And of course, as we're looking maybe bigger picture here, we're talking about just a pullback to the 20 on the monthly, trying to be structured more in a bullish market. The gold market itself is structured quite bullish, but this is a longer time frame analysis, whereas the daily did reject a few times and came back to the 200. So lots of metal volatility and energy volatility. I think we're finally able to see our 10-year on this platform. We are opening slightly lower. So still seeing that small pullback in the 10-year yields. Your bond products should be starting to get their daily pullbacks underway. So TLT, something like IEF for the 7 and the 10-year. That's going to be a shorter time frame treasury ETF to use. And then if you're looking maybe in the opposite direction, you can use one of these short ETFs, and this one happens to be levered as well. So lots of play here, and for the rest of the session, I'll just answer a couple of questions. Some I'll kind of answer in the chat, maybe not appropriate for the show. So Sion, you asked about the 2 indecision candles. I think I kind of got most of that together. It's not necessarily that this is compressed very heavily. It's indicative that the market's in balance right here. We really haven't cleared the higher low of a new range. This is a sort of a 1-day trading range. We haven't cleared any of that. We've just tested one side, closing in between, indicative of balance. The idea is that the market's probably on hold until we get this data, at which point we can see a nice reaction. And really, we're just looking to see what direction they want to go. You know, if it were me, I would say this is a pretty extended downtrend. Seeing a pullback to the 20 is going to eventually be a target, whether we set it up here or whether we need to go lower before getting the bounce underway. The idea is that, a bounce doesn't necessarily have to come where you want it to come. You just have a target in mind if you get a bounce. So what do you think of the usability of some of the websites? I'll probably answer that one in the chat, Sam, just not to call out anything that I'm less familiar with. Let's see. I don't see anything else. Data comes out in 7 minutes. So anyone waiting for CPI data should be looking at that to come out shortly. Thoughts on Roblox after earnings? I went short before earnings and now looking for a good exit. Didn't trade it the way I wanted it to trade. Let's take a look. So Roblox did report earnings. It was coming into earnings a bit weak. A lot of the higher growth names actually had a 4-day sell-off similar to this. Very high volume on the day of earnings. And you're closing your day at about 23. So normal behavior in earnings, you want to look at expected move. What is the market pricing for the earnings themselves? Market for the week was pricing about $6. So on yesterday's close, the volatility represented another $6 of expected movement from 23 into the end of Friday. Now, the understanding is that most of that is for the earnings move because that tends to be the binary event. And as you can see, we moved only $3. So the low of the earnings reaction was 20. Obviously, we're already back at yesterday's close. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going down any further. Not necessarily. But what it does mean is that the expected move wasn't even tested. Now, this is usually indicative that the market's pretty happy with the relative pricing. And while you might see some intraday back and forth trade, usually you need to see the earnings candle break for anything that's going to really expand. And you already have your high and low pretty much marked. It's not even the earnings candle itself. It's just that 20 print. So it looks as if 20 kind of represents a relative low. If it goes lower, the option market was interested in 18. But you'll notice here a lot of these strikes are not populated because a lot of these strikes were not available yesterday. So the option market didn't have strikes, as far as I'm aware, past 18. And usually what that means is if the earnings reaction gets to those price levels, there's not much more for the market maker to move towards. There's not enough liquidity lower, and the option market really isn't prepared for that movement. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a little bit early, allow for Carlos and Norm to get set up for the CPI data. I want them to be online for it. So as always, trade safe. Stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more tomorrow. Let's see what happens.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing, my friend?
Good
Oh,
morning, brother. I'm
all
doing well.
right.
How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. All right. 8:30, man. I know we got some stuff coming out today. Let's
We
take a
got
look
big
at
news coming out.
what happens to our
Hang
market.
on. Sorry, my camera's been weird the last couple of days. So you get that adjusted. Yeah, we've got CPI and core CPI inflation data coming out at 8:30. It's a huge part of what's been driving the market recently, driving the move lower. A lot of people are predicting that inflation peaked last month. We'll see if that's the case. It's still going to remain high, but this data, I got to tell you, I
Yep.
almost usually I take all of TI and load it and research everything on there. And I've been a
Mm-hmm.
little lazy this morning because in 2 seconds it's all going to change.
Exactly. It's not going to matter as
And
much.
that data's here
And
we
there it
go.
is.
Plus 0.3%, hotter than expected. It was 0.2% expected.
Yes, we
So
see the
that's causing
market
a
react.
massive drop. As I
Yeah.
mentioned, changed everything. Core CPI plus zero point 0.6. It was supposed to be plus zero point 0.4. So both were hotter by 50% than expectations. So, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. Definitely not good. And the market is showing that right now. As you're seeing this drop below 400, it is going to be an interesting day, my friend.
Yeah. Um, that's I'd give this a minute to shake out. If you want to
Yeah,
go over yesterday's trades real quick,
yeah. Let's do that while we see what happens here, guys.
see what
Um,
happens.
See how it continues there, guys. Yesterday we had tons of stuff that you could have watched, and again today we are probably going to have the same thing. Let's take a quick look at our gappers list now because that's going to change depending how this continues. Right, you got a lot of stuff in the green at the moment. We'll see how this is going to look
See my
at.
point about not wasting time on researching stuff that was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's gonna change. Exactly. Look at this gap down list slowly get bigger here. We only have a couple of tickers, and this is gonna
It's gonna flip pretty damn fast
flip
now.
pretty aggressively. As you see here, some stuff coming in and some other ones getting a little bit worse. We got some double digits in here though. These guys are not doing well this morning. Coin is here. I see Coin taking a hit, 16%. And we do have again, this green list is probably going to get changed pretty soon. All right, while that's happening, and we're seeing this happening, let's take a look at
Somebody
what
asked
happened.
about
Yeah,
annual or yearly, year-over-year CPI. So core came in at 6.2 versus 6 expected. I mean, all you got to do is add the extra 2% on there or 2/10. So,
hmm hmm
and then year over year on the CPI came in at 8.3 versus 8.1. No bueno.
definitely not good, guys. Let's take a look here at our gappers list from yesterday. We had UPST. I'm going to go over to yesterday's action right over here. This thing dropped huge, guys. It was a huge drop on this. You did get a nice little pop into the pre-market, the market open there, and then just again lost it one more time all the way to 38. So again, a little bit of relief here. Buyers coming in, maybe shorts covering happening here from the pre-market since you had such a huge drop. But that obviously did not hold, and you can see here testing these levels we have up here. Not quite to it, very close, 39.24. That was an area in the pre-market where you saw a little bit of resistance, support there that can now become resistance. We couldn't get to it, but you can see here, you could have played off that level. Look at the beautiful drop and nice continuation you got here towards the bottom. So again, beautiful play there in UPST. Actually traded a lot better than I expected. I didn't think it was going to be that clean, given how much it had dropped, but it actually traded very good. Piton, guys, the best action was in the pre-market. I mean, after that, it stumbled here, up and down action, every candle overlapping the previous one. We don't like that type of activity, right? Did get better later in the day, but not by much. So you have other stuff like Neo that you could have watched. I mean, we talked about how many things were on deck yesterday. Look at Neo here, guys. Beautiful rejection there, trying to get going. Couldn't hold. Beautiful engulfing pattern. That is an opportunity for a short. You get a nice pullback. I mean, this thing had everything going on. This could have been one play on its own. and then you have a pullback to the VWAP, cannot stay above the VWAP. And I love that play when it cannot stay above the VWAP. It was probably one of the things that I learned from Andrew well back in his courses. If something gets above the VWAP and it cannot stay above the VWAP and it tries again, it's an indication that it's weak, right? It doesn't have any strength. And you saw that yesterday on NEO. Look at the beautiful drop you're getting there towards the bottom on NEO. So good stuff there. We had AMD, which again, AMD, look at the rally did here. Pretty aggressive. Couldn't hold this 90-11. Again, another level we had on our daily. And you can see here just a drop on AMD as well. Microsoft, similar situation. A lot of the tech stocks did exactly the same thing. But NEO, even though Microsoft was clean, I think, no, sorry, not NEO. AMD was probably one of the cleanest ones. And we had also CCL, which again, wasn't played yesterday. Has not been. But overall, with the way this market is trading, definitely traded very clean. So that is what we had yesterday, guys. Again, today I expect we had some other ones. Apple, we had NCLA. There's a ton you could have watched yesterday on that list. Let's take a look at the SPY. How are we rolling there? See how we're doing now.
Right at that
leveling
400-ish
off
level. Right where we closed yesterday. So we'll see. That's some serious volume that is coming in. 2.8 million so far.
Yeah, no, that's
1.5 just on that 5-minute candle. So
yep, very aggressive there, guys, as you can see. Yeah, I mean, this list, guys, I don't want to jump into it too fast because I know things are going to change here. But there are some double digits here that I would like to see. These guys right here are in trouble. They were down huge before this drop happened here. So let's take a look at those and see what's causing that and if there's any good opportunities. Control A, Control X gets rid of our little tickers there. And if you want to link trade ideas, because I'd have to do this every morning, and not every morning I remember to do it before the show starts. So we'll do it now. Trade idea tools. Head on over to external linking. You're going to get this little pop-up, add link. And you could do this with whatever broker you're using, if you can type in something and hit enter, you can do it with whatever broker you want. You can do it to even a website. So if you have a website where you can input something and you want to get information, you could do that. If you want to link two things on it, you could do that as well. You could hit add link again, and you can put it somewhere else if you like, and it will do that also for you. So let's say I just want to try something here. Since I want this to run, can I put it here? Oh no, it might not catch. Oh, it does. All right, so I got two. Let's see what happens. So if I click on Arcus, might not put it in. They might not like that as much as this montage. All right, we tried. Let's go here. Let's get rid of this, and now let's see what's happening. Arcus, RCUS this morning. These guys are not looking good pre-market wise. Let's look at the daily. They're down 27%. They're not a great trade. I could just tell by the volume here. They just do not have it going on, guys. This is not great. 2 million. That's what they're getting on the daily. They're moving $1 or $2. Let me show you the reason why.
Not even that. 1.1 million daily average volume.
It's horrible. Let me show you the reason why. You might ask why. Let's look at yesterday's action with again just about 2 million, and that's on the high end. Let me just look at this. Look at this price action. And this is the 5 minute. The 5 minute will tend to make things a little more pretty, a little more smooth. You get to the 1 minute, this is horrible. Look at this here. Look at the bottom, right? So again, if you don't get volume where you're gapping up 24 from 21 to 24, you're gapping down to 17, I don't think you're going to be good today either way. I don't think there's going to be anything good to trade here. So that's my reason for not wasting time on this one. Here is you. Besides the time we just wasted going over that, this is you here, Unity Software, and they're looking a little bit better in the pre-market. They're down 26%. What happened here? They had earnings last night, looks like.
They did have earnings after the close yesterday, and they got a big downgrade, at least one this morning. Huge price target cut from 110 to 34 is the one I'm seeing. There may be more that aren't on my list yet. Credit Suisse actually just put another one out. You want to talk about a difference? They lowered their price target. I don't know what it was to 137. So there's quite a disparity in that.
Yeah, that not looking fun there, guys. You know what? This could be okay for today. We'll have to see. It's a big drop, and they've been getting a little bit more volume lately. You know, is it
We better
tanking
get
now?
through the gap down list quickly because it's going to get too long pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm only going to look at the top 3 here, man. I'm not looking at. I'm only going to look at Arcus, U, and Coin and Fiverr
No, I
because
mean, yeah, some of
yeah,
these should be actually pretty decent.
yeah,
Coin, that's a huge story going
Coin,
on.
man. Let's talk about
Coin's in
this.
big trouble.
Yeah, this is not good.
The stable coin issue that's been talked about the last few days. I don't know if Jared's mentioned that. He's much more in tune with the crypto market than I am. Good, thank you, sir. But then Coin reported, hang on, they reported last night, and yeah, it was not good, and a slowdown in users. So it had a loss, missed revenue estimates.
They are definitely not having a good
there
time.
Are concerns
man.
that they're. I mean, they're saying there is no chance of them going bankrupt, but with the stable coin issues, there are some concerns about essentially a crypto bank run. So it's ugly.
These guys IPO'd at 340. Is that correct?
That sounds about right.
Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, 380, 340, depending what the pre-market had. Well, they don't open in pre-market, so it will be around. Yeah, actually, it will be that right there, 380. Ouch. Ouch. IRP for those IPO holders right now, man. This is not good if they did not get out of this. All right, let's head on down. The next one I'm gonna look at is Fiverr. Fiverr here this morning. They don't trade very well, and they're not looking good neither right now. They're down 15%, and then it's just getting a crush at the moment. Again, very light on volume, so not a big fan of this one. ARRY, we looked at this before, and today I'm not seeing anything great on this. After hours earnings last night. But for the most part, there's nothing happening here besides a gap down of 12%, but the activity is just not there. And again, a lot of stuff. Look at our gap up list, guys. How it's shrinking at the moment, based on what's happening here. So we're continuing down movement on the SPY down to 396 now. And let's see how further it's going to get. We do have a daily level here over at the SPY around 394. That was the low from yesterday. We're just a couple of points shy from that. So I'm going to stop here on the gap down list. I think this from here down, these are the ones that were like, really leading the way, and they definitely have some issues going on, especially Coin. Gapping up. They got some good ones on here that are doing well. 20%, 17. We'll look at those two. VREU. And looking at this right now, this is the one that's made some noise in the last month, I believe, right? It's been about a month since we did this, actually, a month exactly. It made some good noise here. Guys had a good positive catalyst, hit 13 a couple of times, great area of resistance. We're coming back with something here. We're up 8.8 this morning. So not sure what further news has arrived to these guys, but they could be a good possible. They have traded well for us in the past. There's some good opportunities. I don't think they're a low flow stock, right? No, they're not a low flow, but they can move like one, so be very careful.
They had some news on their COVID treatment that we've talked about a few times.
Yeah. Okay, so things developing there. I know they were waiting for like the FAA to kind of not sure if it's FAA. No, it's
FDA.
FDA, correct. FAA is airplanes. FDA to kind of approve some stuff there for them, fast track this thing. If that has happened, maybe we can get some action out of that. Up 20%. We'll see what takes place. CSSE. This is actually up 20%. Not a great pre-market activity right now.
This is kind of a weird one, man. They are acquiring, and I haven't dug into this because it's too garbage tickers.
I don't blame you.
They're acquiring Redbox.
Oh.
And if you look at Redbox, it's down like 40% this morning.
Redbox should be up.
Usually that's how it works.
Right? I mean, especially...
But I guess, my only guess here, and like I said, I'm not trading either of these, so I have not dug into this. I'm not going to waste my time with it on a morning like today. Yeah. But my guess is that people had anticipated a buyout, and it's being bought out for less than people were hoping it would be bought out for.
So it's hurting them. Yeah. For a minute, I thought our gap down list broke. It went blank. There's too many stuff happening, going red, but it's back now.
I could be completely wrong on that, by the way. But
yeah,
like I said,
no, that we were just kind of guessing. That's the best guess that I can possibly think of. But again, either way, they're both garbage. That I don't see anything good happening there today. SWCH. Let's see what can actually stay in the green with the way things are happening. That could be interesting. This is a buyout. It doesn't look good at all. So let's skip on that. LI is in the green right now, up 7.6. Volume 1.1 million. So I know they haven't done well the last couple of days. What changed this morning? Their gap been up pretty
So,
big.
China, a couple of things. There's been talk by Biden about saying he was considering eliminating the tariffs on China that Trump had put in place, but then also Shanghai people said that half the city is in state of zero COVID.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
So that
reopening,
could be it.
they've been beaten down because of being closed and everything else. So
Yeah. I saw it
that's
was a
helping. I
tweet.
mean, we've got the best stuff on here is Chinese this morning with
Mhm.
Lee and XPEV, Billy.
Yeah.
So
I know Tesla. There was a tweet that they reopened their factory. They started shipping cars out. But obviously
well,
that's
yeah,
not
but
going to
then there
matter
was
much
there
today.
was a story yesterday about having to shut it back down because they don't, not because of COVID, but because they can't get enough. I believe it was wiring harnesses.
Oh, so they're getting some
They got
supply shortage, yeah,
supply chain
issues there.
issues. Yeah.
Not that that would have mattered today because you guys know Tesla is a heavy stock when it comes to the not a heavy, but it follows the stock market very very aggressively, and you're seeing that here now. They were in the green at 800, now down to 787. So, regardless of that news, the SPY is going to drag this thing wherever it goes today. That's what we're looking at here. So, Lee is interesting, guys. I'm going to add that on here today. Maybe as a possible, but I think is interesting there. They got good volume. XPEV as well. We haven't seen XPEV trade, this much volume in the pre-market in a while. And I expect that to get better. So let's put these two on here, and then we'll decide what we're going to keep here. Our buddy Piton has to be in the green after getting slammed yesterday. I mean, any signs of life this thing can pop up here. 3.1 right now, 408,000. It was just so bad, guys, intraday trading this one yesterday. It just did not trade clean. Towards the later parts of the day, you did get a couple of runs here, but it was rough, kind of seeing what was going to happen here. Nor you might have mentioned this. I know we're not predicting what's going to happen, but at some point there is going to be some value. No, aside from the fell off, there is going to be some fall off. There's going to be some value at some point in this stock, right? I mean, so 13 is that it?
I don't necessarily agree with you.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so what do you think about this one?
I don't know.
Yeah,
there doesn't have to be any value.
That's
Could go to zero.
True. That's true. I don't think it will, but yeah, it's at some point that we'll see what happens here, guys. I mean, they're $13. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not sure. It traded so bad yesterday, guys. I'm not gonna add it on here. They are seeing a little bit of life here, but we'll have to see. VREU actually did add VREU on here. What happened to it? I did add VREU. I mistyped it.
I can't say Piton's garbage because they make a good product. I mean, I like my Peloton. My wife loves her Peloton.
Yeah, you're just saying the stock is
just they got some problems though, obviously.
Yeah,
and people were anticipating somebody buying them out. If it hadn't happened at this point, it's like anybody that's considered it's looked into it and seen massive issues.
Yeah.
So
agreed 100%. Let's take a look. Yeah, here's VREU, guys. I mistyped. I added an S for some reason, but VREU is on the list.
You like it so good. You like it so much. You put two. You put plural on there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I got to put a couple on there just to make sure we look at it. Let's take a look. What else we have? Piton, Baba, JD. Again, all these Chinese stocks is pushing up today. I tend to like Baba when it's in play. Let's see here. No, it's not really gapping up enough, Baba, today for what I like, but it could be a good one. A lot of Chinese stocks still in the green this morning. All right, JD, AG is no good. Billy's up nice, 3.3. Yeah, not great though. I'll watch Baba and see what happens there. Let's take a look at our gap down list and see how things have changed. We still got the real big ones. I knew these were going to stay here. I mean, they're just getting killed. Whatever it is here, it's still there. And then you have some other ones towards the bottom. I think this is going to end up growing here. We have Hood, DKNG. I'll look at a few, but we'll take it to the room so you guys can throw out some stuff that you like this morning. DKNG down 2.3. I'm not a fan of that. Some ones that actually I'm not going to take the chat room's thunder, but some stuff that I like is obviously Apple, AMD. We're going to look at all these things that are going to be trading with the market for the most part. Norm, anything you like on your end?
Stuff that we've already gone through, really.
Yep.
I don't have any outliers that aren't on here yet.
There's nothing sticking out that has its own stuff going on.
I still think we need a few more minutes as we
Yeah.
get. It's kind of, the market's digesting the inflation
Mhm.
data that just came out. Everything's going to depend on what happens in the market today.
Exactly.
If we drive lower from that,
Yeah.
that could.
I agree 100% here. Yeah, if we drop from this, all hell's gonna break loose. Let's take it to the chat room, guys. Fiona, you're giving us Oxy. What is Oxy up to in these type of conditions? Down 1%, 1.8 million. They got the volume. I still, has anybody figured out? And again, I know I asked this before. That's why I love being part of the community. So many eyes on here. Maybe you already emailed Das or something. Why this is happening? You're not getting this 1.8 million. Do we have like a definite answer for that? So we have 1.8 million reported in the montage. I wonder if somebody has taken the time to do that. But there's not. It's not showing here. The volume is not showing here. And I wonder if this is only in Dash Trader Pro. So somebody has Thinkorswim. If they could check, I would love to know that. Just out of my own curiosity, what the hell's going on? Why is this happening? And it happens quite a bit. So Oxy at the moment we're reporting 1.8. I'm not seeing that in the charts or anything here. So again, pretty much flat for the most part. I think with the way the market is today, could be a good one to have as a possible. I have a lot of possibles on here, guys, because I think in 20 minutes from now, things could look very, very different, as Thorn mentioned. So I don't want to get tied down to a set list. We can build our watch list, at 9:15 if we have to, right? But at the moment, it's just I don't want to get tied down to anything that might be changing.
Bitcoin's really hitting the skids too, bud.
I see that here.
That's one thing to keep an eye on as well.
So this will be
it's flirting with 29.
BTC here. Oh wow. Ouch, man.
It's your store of value.
Ooh. Look at Mara. Mara's in play today. Mara is in play today for sure. I like this drop here. Look at this.
Phil's got a good question over on, and I was actually going to mention this, so I'll bring it up now. Because on SPY correlation days like this, would you propose setups on high-weighted SPY stocks like Apple, Microsoft? Yeah, I mean, that's how I would be looking at things. That they you're not going to it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for a stock with a positive catalyst to not be weighed down by the SPY. I'd rather just play something that's pretty correlated at Apple, AMD, Microsoft, stuff like that.
Yeah, agreed 100%. And it'll be interesting to see what stays in the green that's that strong. What ends up happening is what I usually like to do is, since we got a little bit of time where this thing shakes out here, if the market starts rallying, the ones that actually stay strong, be on the lookout for those, because those can actually now continue to show that strength, right? If they're able to hold for whatever reason. We've seen that happen before in the past. TWS has Oxy at 1.8 million. Yeah, I bet it does, but is it showing in the charts? Is it showing the breakdown of that 1.8 million?
It's just a block trade in there, man.
Is it showing here?
It's just a block trade.
Yeah. So I'll definitely log in.
I don't know why it's if it showed up at their 8 o'clock candle, then it's very possible it might have been something that registered from yesterday or at the close. What was the and it's possible that it's just not putting it on the volume because it didn't technically take place at that time.
All right, so on TOS is showing us 7. All right, so yeah, see, but in the past we used to show that, so it's just interesting. But yeah, it's showing us 7.55 because then that way it's a block trade. But okay, I gotcha. All right, so it is. So we'll consider those block trades going forward. That's what that is. All right. All right, let's see what else we got. Oxy, guys, we looked at, so that's good there. And I see a lot of you guys are not throwing out any tickers because you're doing the same thing I'm doing. You're kind of waiting to see what is actually going to be in play today. So since nobody's mentioned Apple, I am going to throw out Apple. That's what I'm going to be watching. We know Apple can trade very good. John had a nice tweet out yesterday. He asked, if you could watch one stock for the whole month, which one would it be? And his stock would be Nvidia. And I agree. Nvidia is one that you definitely will keep on there. Apple's another one. These are stocks, as you mentioned before. We have people that are newer. When a little bit new when they join us, they're like, oh, why are you watching stocks that have no catalyst? You're right. Nvidia, Apple, they have nothing going on right now. But the
Their
SPY is
catalyst
dragging
is the
everything.
market.
The catalyst is the SPY right now. So watch stocks that you like to
On
trade.
days like this, it's going to be difficult, like I said, to move separately from the SPY, and you just got to realize that. Don't get me wrong. A Vero, which has a very strong catalyst, and probably will trade indifferently to the SPY, but it's going to be difficult to find anything else that's not going to.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Penny, over on YouTube. So yeah, all right. So now I know for sure now that is that's what that is.
DAS just isn't showing the block trade volume because it didn't happen at that time for reals.
Yep. No, I do not see in chat. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. Yep, got the answer. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very, very much. We got people using different platforms. We can get ideas from everywhere. I love it. Nvidia, guys, obviously good. Apple, obviously good. Tesla. Tesla's going to be another one. I don't think I need to go Tesla today when we have these other ones that are can move very well, but Tesla's definitely in play. You could pick the ones that you guys have been trading for a while, that the way it moves. For example, I know Peter's going to, it's a given. Peter's going to be watching AMD, but you could watch AMD today because I shouldn't even mention that's like a staple already here. But AMD is another one that's a good one. I'm tech heavy, but tech tends to move very aggressive when the SPY does this, right? They move very well. Triple H giving us Neo and Roblox. Neo was actually doing pretty good here. Now in the red, man.
Jared pointed out something. SPY is actually at yesterday's low. Qs have dropped below yesterday's low.
Man, oh man, look at this here. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what's gonna happen at the market open here. It will be interesting if we lose this level here. Will be definitely very interesting. And then we're gonna be looking at, we're gonna have a rip your face off type day, right? This market is crazy, guys. So just what you want to do, you want to be prepared for everything and know that anything can happen, right? We could have a rip off face day for whatever reason.
I'll bet you $100 we won't.
We won't, but just be prepared for don't get stuck in a trade that's not working because you think this can happen. Just go with what's happening, right? Just do not try to change the market's direction today, up or down. It is not going to look pretty, right? So don't be hard-headed today. Today's not a day to be hard-headed. All right, guys, I think we're all set. Let's go to announcements. Our list here is pretty much anything that's moving down with the market. Apple, Nvidia, AMD. I even have Bitcoin, which is getting killed, and coin, which is getting destroyed, down 23%. So yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, the Bitcoin drop's not going to help that either. All right, so uplifting. Technology webinar next week, 8 p.m. DAS Trader Pro Q&A with Kyle. On Monday, on Tuesday, we'll have Thor's VPA Part 2 will be posted as soon as we have that from Thor, I think. And then Peter, next week at 8, talking about understanding fundamentals of the market and cyclical nature of how the market works. Return of Creta tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, neutralize pressure while trading. And the next week, Mike talking about defining your trading why. If there's anybody left from jumping out windows today. John, tomorrow, 11 a.m. doing mentoring, and then Ed at 4 p.m., Thor at 8. Don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com, where if we do have the largest market crash in history today, you'll be able to play it every day for the rest of your life for free. Just go to stocktradingsimulator.com and sign up there. It's web-based. You don't have to download anything. It's our free web-based replay simulator. Get a couple of homework assignments a week by Eamon, showing you what tickers were in play and such. No, I'm not predicting a market crash. I'm just joking, guys. It's just an ugly, ugly chart since we've come on. All right. Our 1-week trial. Go to bearbulltraders.com. Scroll down in the membership grid. You'll see the intro membership. Click on it. Use the promo code PreMarket24 to get a discount off our 7-day trial.
All right, thank you, Norm. So question here, you're asking why we have Mara on the list. Well, actually, they're down more than 1%. If you look at it here, they're actually down 9%. So I'm gonna see how you're seeing 1%. Mara is definitely
Down
down.
one. It's down $1.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, that's what you're looking at. It's down $1. So you're looking at this right here. So it's down $1.
It's down 9%.
But it's down 9%, right? So I think that's definitely in play today. And then with the way the Bitcoin is moving right now, you know, that's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. All right, our gappers, gap
Bitcoin's
up list
trying to take out its low. It already dropped below 29 for a second earlier and bounced, and now it's hovering right back at 29 again. It's going to be an interesting day for there for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, I think we have a decent list. And again, you can really watch anything today. It's going to be an easy day to pick a watch list. You don't have to really go crazy or get too creative or try to find something, you know, out of the box here. It's pretty straightforward day. No, all good, man. All good. That's what we're here to do, kind of confirm things, right? So like this one here, Bitcoin is down 1,925, 1,800 right there, down 6%, right? So that's what it is. All right, we could do levels now, or we could do questions now. What do you guys feel like doing? Norm, what's your thoughts? Either one works for me. I think if we do levels now, we can somewhat be ready, right? Let's do levels, and we'll see how this plays out. I just think this list is gonna change quite a bit here. Let's do AMD. AMD is very easy to do levels here, guys. You have a beautiful support here that we're trying to hold. Let's see if we can hold through this drop we're getting here. So AMD, low of the pre-market, pretty much that 85.60 on there, so that you're good there. High of the pre-market is a little bit lower than this level we're getting here, which is going to be over at a 90.25, right? High of your pre-market is good there. I love AMD's daily. I can't wait for things to get going here towards the upside. Not soon, because I do want Artie to grow his beard out a lot longer. I want him to catch up to me. And you know what? He should be, by the time he starts doing these videos again, he should be there. He should be very close. So, so we'll see, man. Once this thing starts rallying, I think it's going to be a really good one. Towards the bottom, we looked at this on the weekly, and I removed it. But we looked at this on the weekly, and if we go here to the weekly, we can see a nice level right here, 73. Obviously, we're not getting there today. It would be nice if we could, but we're not. 75.57, 82.37, another level there. So we got some pretty good stuff happening there. So that 82, 30, 57, sorry, 37. That's a great level there. Got some stuff happening there on the weekly. A lot of confirmation. Let's take a look at Nvidia. I started from the bottom here, but let's take a look at Nvidia on the daily. Also one that has tons of highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. You can see great support happening here as well the last couple of days, or last 2 days, and today trying to hold as well. Nicely in the green, and the SPY came in and gave a little Will Smith type slap here, and it's being, you know, it's getting crushed at the moment. So let's go back. We have not been on this one in some time neither. So we're gonna have to go back here. Let's say May, June timeframe of 2021, and we're gonna pick off some levels here off the daily. We got this one 162.44, and we do have this other one here 155.04. So we're set there. Towards the top, we're looking good, guys. On Nvidia, are we getting a little bit of a bounce on the SPY? Is that what's happening? Okay, yes, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. Let's see if that's going to hold. So you're going to see that across the board. All these tickers are going to look exactly like the SPY does this morning. I don't think you're going to find a lot of stuff that's going to be trading on its own, except for VREU up 25%. Is that going higher? Is that going up? It's trying to hold here. It's trying to hold above that 950. So that's doing pretty good. That'll be interesting. So here, back to Apple. We are low of the pre-market 152. So we'll slam a level there. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days towards the top, man. So you are all set up here. Do not need to do anything there. Stock Pigeon, thank you so much for the support, man. Appreciate you over on YouTube. Thank you. Below 152, what do we have? We have this area here. It's like 150, which makes sense. That whole dollar number right at 150 there. That's nice, man. Look at Apple's I feel like when I first started trading back in 2017, stocks didn't move like this. It just feels that way, or maybe I just don't remember because I was so rookie and just wasn't paying attention to the big picture. I was stuck in the 1 minute, the 5 minute, but it just didn't feel like they moved so much like this on just a regular basis. Look at the month of March. I mean, what is this? It's insane. Just the moves you're getting, man. Um, maybe I was just maybe I was just not, blind to what was happening. And I know I was because back in 2008, I didn't even know we are going through a recession. I mean, I was young at that time. I was buying cars and just living life, and we're going through a recession, housing. I had no idea. So it's crazy sometimes if you're not paying attention. So here you are, guys. You're all set here on Apple towards the bottom, towards the top, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Here we go. Mara this morning towards the top. You're pretty set. Highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. They didn't, right, Aaron? They did not move the way they're moving now. It's just crazy how the volume in the market has changed. I have been keeping Mara off my list, guys, but today they're looking very good. Obviously, with Bitcoin down, this is in play. With the SPY down, this is in play as well. Now we're down 8.6 on this one, 493,000. Still not the great volume we used to get back in the days on this one, but I think it's decent. Mara doesn't get that huge volume that he used to in the past. We were heavily trading this one. Going on the weekly, last time we've been down here, Mara at $10, man. This thing was, what, 60 at one point, 55, hanging out at 30. 915 is a good one off the daily. Beautiful right there. Beautiful support, resistance. And then all the way down there, you have 688. Again, we doubted we will get there, but let's see what happens there. Back to the daily on our bottom chart here. Let's take a look over at the last one, coin. Again, coin just getting destroyed here. We are looking at high of the pre-market. We're down 25% on coin, by the way. High of the pre-market, we're looking at a 64.36. And towards the bottom, we're looking at 54.51 there. Then below this, now there's no below this actually. There's no below this 54 because we IPO'd back up here at 300 and something. Ooh. All right. Guys, that is our list this morning. It's going to be a very interesting day. Let's get to some questions. What do you guys have on your end? Anything you guys have that has a catalyst that might be worth watching? If it's selling down and just doing the overall SPY, I don't really want to look at it because we got plenty that we can look. But if you have something that's doing something completely different, that maybe has a catalyst or something interesting, or the day looks crazy, yeah, let's look at that. But if not, I mean, let's get to some questions. Did we look at Roblox? I don't think we did. I don't think we looked at Roblox. But again, another one here that's doing the same thing, right? Great volume, down 6.2. It's just following the overall SPY. If you're seeing this drop starting around 8:30 when we went on, if you're seeing this drop here, this bounce, it's not really doing its own thing. When do they have earnings? They have earnings coming up, or they had earnings? And even if they had earnings last night. I think at this point, your earnings don't matter. So a lot of stocks that that are just that's not going to matter a whole lot today. For example, Tesla had positive news and some negative news, and just is doing whatever the SPY does at this point, right? So some of these earnings are going to be overshadowed. Now is a great time if you're scheduled for earnings around this time, and you had horrible earnings, it's a perfect time to release your earnings now. So if you have earnings coming up, maybe do a pre-release today. Kind of fall into everything that's happening. That's what I would be doing. Let's see, Baba.
Why? So you can send your stock to zero?
Just hide it. Nobody will be paying attention. Everybody will be trading Apple and coin. Everybody will be focused on something else. Let's see. Affirm. Affirm. No, it's actually pretty quiet compared to everything else. Pretty quiet. Lee, we do have Lee on deck here. I do have Lee at the moment. Yeah, they're up 7.5. So they're actually holding pretty good here. There's some stuff that were up nicely. Piton is still holding up here as well. But yeah, Lee's actually one that might be interesting today. I'm actually going to move. I got Apple, Nvidia, and AMD, and they're all going to do the same exact thing today. So who do we like here? They're all three great. Let's maybe move Apple down so we don't hurt Peter's feelings. Let's move Apple down this time. There we go. Let's move Apple. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and add a row right there. There it is. So we got Lee, something different than tech and Bitcoin. We have Lee in there. Cool, guys. We could get some questions. We got tons of time. I think this list is done. LLY. I never heard of that. LLY.
It's Eli Lilly.
No. Yeah, no. Nope. Not happening. Lee, we have Amazon dropping 2K, probably. Mara. Yeah, Mara is in play today, guys. What's some other Bitcoins? We have Riot also, right? Riot's another good one as well. But yeah, Mara and Coin, I'll keep these two on deck for now. Gapping down, let's see here. Yeah, that's what we have, guys. All right, let's get some questions. When you pick a stock and do levels, do you pick a bias that the setup will likely pop or drop? Well, the setup that I look for at the market open can go both ways. The opening range breakout or breakdown, right? It can go both ways. So I'm just looking for a breakout, whether it's long or short. It doesn't really matter when you have that strategy. Now, if you're looking for a reversal, clearly, if you're looking for a double bottom, double top, that's a clear, long or short bias. Today, man, I'm short bias. I am short bias. I don't want to be, but today with the SPY, I'm short bias. I just think you got to be careful because sometimes you get these rallies. Even if it drops the whole day, it could fall on the face of the earth. You get these rallies, you just don't want to force things. You don't want to force if it's going against you. But yeah, today I'm short bias. If I see something going short, you could be aggressive. You know
what's crazy?
Yeah.
Amazon right now is right where it was February 2020 before the pandemic dropped it. Yeah. Giving it all up.
Wow. Look at this, man. I mean, I know they didn't have a good earnings, right?
Keep going back or pull up a weekly.
Yeah, we'll get the weekly going here. This is look at this. Gave that all back. Went to 36, hung out 34, right? For a very long time. And just gave that all back. Wow. Interesting, man. Interesting. And today, definitely not helping. Definitely not helping the situation here.
Gave it all back in 1 month.
Yeah. Yep. It's insane. Now what's the issue with them besides what's going on with the SPY? I mean, did they have problems? I mean, I don't know what's the deal with them.
Well, they pulled forward all kinds of growth.
Yeah, right.
Because of the stay at home and people going back.
Yep. What do we have here? On days like this, that most will follow the SPY. All right. How relevant are levels on individual stocks like Apple versus SPY levels? I think they're really relevant, man. There's something about these levels, even on days like this, you're going to have these levels be respected to a certain extent. Now, if the SPY continues to drop, they might hesitate. You might have a stutter step at a level, right? That ticker does not want to break down from. But if the SPY say, hey, this is where we're going, well, this is where we're going. You're going to go down to the next level. Might have a little hesitation there, a little, a bit of a consolidation, very small quickly. And then boom, you go down to the next level if we're going to move things through. So I think the levels are still important. We've been through stuff like this before, and the levels do actually hold up pretty well. As far as being an area where you can still use as a maybe not as a reversal. You don't want to use as a reversal, but use as a profit taking. Maybe a stop if you're leaving that level, right? If you lose that level, maybe you could use that level as a stop if you want to play a breakout. You could do things like that. But to put weight on a level that it's going to reverse from here, or there's going to be support when the SPY is tanking. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's not what the level is there for in that type of environment, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Like, look at this 152, right? 152, we're bouncing from here. The SPY is obviously bouncing, but Apple chose to stop at 152. If you go back, I believe we have areas of support at 152, right? So, no coincidence that 152 is where, look at this. Look at that beautiful area of resistance. You got a little bit of resistance, a little bit of support right at that 152, right? So it does respect it to an extent. Dropping off my packages.
It's like Skeet, but you get prizes.
Yeah. It's happening, man. It'll happen eventually. Who knows? Just be careful your dog, right? That's one of the issues. Like if your dog comes running to something that has a propeller, it's just got to be careful. That's one of the biggest things that came out. Amazon responsible for killing somebody's pet. It's not going to go over well. All right, what else we have? 9:13. I think we're set. Can't wait to see the moderators lineup. Let's see what these guys are looking at today. Our mods, I see a couple on there already. All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's resize this over here. Over on YouTube, thank you so much for the support, guys. For those that already hit that like button. If you haven't done so, this is the great time to do it. As I move this over, sitting at 115, we love to get to 250, 300 is our spot. We'd love to see that. All right, let's bring this over. Moderators list today. Let's take a look at what our team likes here. All right, so that should be good there. We'll move this over so we don't block our watch list. Perfect. All right, we'll start with Eamon. So my watch list just got ruined by the market dump. I will have to wait for scanners, and that's what happens. Everything you had planned for change at 8:30. That's for sure. Peter, a couple IPOs and SPACs opening up today. Horrible day for IPO. Watch list for Dima, Oxy, Lee, Baba, and Apple. Peter will be looking at AMD, Coin, Roblox. Secondary list, Apple, Facebook, and Neo. Tiffany will be looking at Nvidia, Tesla, and Coin. Facebook, mostly watching this morning to see how this sad panda of a market plays out. Susan will be looking at the breakout strategy, maybe TGT, watching for the ABCD pattern, Coin, SPI, and AMD there. So that is the moderators list this morning. Again, guys, your list today could look completely different, and you can have an amazing list because just that is the type of day that it is. So,
if you're a CEO, why would you let your IPO be scheduled on the day of a CPI release so anticipated as this?
I know. And you could easily change that. You could delay that, right? It's not we've seen IPOs get moved back tons of times.
Yeah, I mean, but you're gonna know when CPI data is gonna come out, and I mean, you know what's going on in the market. It was scheduled within the last several weeks or month.
You see that on the calendar, right?
CPI data came out at 8:30 Eastern, so 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, guys, that's what you're seeing. That's what you're seeing this right here.
Well, if he didn't know, his investment bankers knew. The underwriters knew. Everybody involved in that's being paid tens of millions of dollars to take it public knows.
Yeah, someone needs to
very well.
Not get fired, but someone needs to be talked to. All right, we are set, guys. We have Coin.
Peter, I disagree with you.
Mara, we have Nvidia, AMD, and Lee. Where's Peter? This is no good time for IPO. If you had a IPO, I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't know. I guess what? We'll find out. Let's look at these IPOs and see how they play today. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you just have a shit business and you have a coin. And it doesn't matter what day you open up. And if you're Coin, you're not happy no matter what day it is. Oh, man. 380,
While you were doing levels, I flipped over and I saw CNBC for a second. Kramer was railing on Coin.
Oh, wow.
So,
I mean,
probably will go up, but who knows?
Let's hope. But this is on the way. This highway to hell right now. So we'll see.
I did get gaslit by one of my local television stations. Yeah. They sent out 25 minutes ago, so about 10 minutes after CPI data came out. So if anybody, obviously they're not looking at the market, but one of the local TV stations sent out a notification. U.S. inflation hits 8.3% in April compared to last year, showing signs of slowing down.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Fiery, but mostly peaceful.
This is when my friends and family start calling me. Hey, is everything okay? How you doing? You're all right, man. It's the world's falling apart, because this is when the mass media gets involved when stuff like this happens.
Oh, yeah.
So look out for those phone calls. Have a good time with them. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. Thank you so much over on YouTube for joining us today. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys again tomorrow at tomorrow is Thursday. Yes, so 8 a.m. with Jared, Engineering the Market, and then we'll run into our pre-market prep at 8:30. Thor and I believe Jared are trading live now, so looking forward to that. And we will see you guys later. Take care over on YouTube. Have a good one.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.